Davi's A-Hole of the Week. If you drop off 80,000 pennies on your ex's wife's lawn, you might fall under Davi's A-Hole of the Week.
Yep, this happened in Richmond, Virginia. And I'm just wondering, because I told you guys a couple months ago about a guy that dumped pennies for a dude's final paycheck on his lawn, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Like, it was like $871 for his final paycheck
Right.
that he had been fighting for over 6 months. That guy's in Georgia, still has a business,
Yes.
and he wrote on his website, "Yes, I accept pennies. It is cash, idiots." Like
He doubled down.
He doubled down. He's an awful person. But I'm just wondering, like, is dumping pennies on someone's lawn like the new Oakley sunglasses? Is dumping pennies on someone's lawn like the new Ed Hardy shirt? Like, is it a huge D-bag behavior now because everybody's doing it? So they have a point to be made and they just dump pennies on lawns. But he did it as the final child support payment for his daughter. He dumped it on his ex-wife's lawn, was like, here's your final child support payment. And what his daughter is doing with that money is just epically cool.
What looked like a landscaping trailer dropped a pile of pennies in front of a Wyndham mailbox last month. A Deep Run graduate says it's been hard trying to make sense of it.
If a penny is worth 1,000 words,
I just turned 18.
certainly 80,000 of the coins will help Avery Sanford tell her side of the story.
When I was in the middle of class, my dad came by. He had rented a trailer.
The Deep Run senior will spend the summer at home before venturing to Virginia Tech for her freshman year.
He pulled up in front of our house, turned the trailer on, so it dumped out all of the pennies in the street in front of our house. And my mom walked outside while it was happening. She didn't recognize him at first, and she asked, "What are you dumping on my lawn?" And he said, "It's your final child support payment." And that's when she realized who it was.
Never thinking she'd have to use a snow shovel in the summer to scoop up some domestic drama.
It's not just her that he'd be trying to embarrass. It's also me. It's also my sister. And it's upsetting that he doesn't really consider that before he did this.
Once the pennies were picked up, Sanford and her mom decided to flip the script. Her mom donating her daughter's last child support payment, every penny, to Safe Harbor, a domestic abuse shelter.
Turning around and donating that money to moms and children in need, I feel like that just really turns the situation into a positive one. You can learn a lesson from it.
A lesson Avery's teaching. She hasn't spoken to her father in years. She says the penny incident proves she made the tough but right decision to stay clear, and she has no interest in having a relationship with anyone who disrespects her mother.
It is really hurtful and damaging to your kids when you do things like that. And it doesn't matter how old your kid is. It doesn't matter if they're a young child or an adult. The actions of your parents will always have some effect on you.
Avery's mom.
So when the dad, Avery's father, was reached by phone, he said his actions were the result of 18 years of built-up frustration and his emotions got the best of him. But the last thing he wanted to do was further the wedge between him and his daughter because she's been estranged from him for many years.
Right.
They haven't been talking for a while.
He didn't think that by dumping all those pennies would have any effect on his daughter whatsoever.
He thought maybe she'd be like, "Oh, cool, I love pennies. Lincoln's my favorite. I'm going to call my dad today." But the fact that they took that $800 and they flipped the script and they made something positive out of it is just so cool. And it just...
He goes in your A-Hole Hall of Fame, man.
For sure.
Yeah,
they donated to Safe Harbor, a domestic abuse center. And Kathy Easter of Safe Harbor said they were able to take such a negative experience and what that daughter witnessed and turn it into a positive. And they found a way to turn this around and not feel devastated about it, which is really cool. But I'm just like, okay, they always say that women mature faster than men. Her dad's 50 and she's 18. So let's talk about that for a minute. And then it's just yet another story of women prevailing where men are failing. This 18-year-old woman taught her dad a lesson in grace today by donating $800 to Safe Harbor. So for whatever reason, every news outlet is protecting this a-hole's identity. You know, I like to shout their name at the end and be like, "You're in the a-hole of the week." So they're protecting his identity. I don't know who he is. It sucks. I hate it. But a big shout out to Avery Sanford for surviving a toxic childhood with an a-hole dad and coming out on the other side a very good person.
And her mama, too.
For sure. Her mom taught her well. So Avery and I didn't have like strong father figures as a role model like most people, but we had someone who taught us how not to be.
Amen.
And her mom extra helped with that. And so Avery Sanford, you're the queen of final words. A standing ovation for
nice
Avery
job.
today. Good job, Avery.
Well, and Davi, perfect A-hole of the week, considering we're going into Father's Day weekend. I really appreciate that.
Right. Timing couldn't be more perfect.
Happy Father's Day.
The Bert Show.